What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mountain Witch Tarot channel. Today we are talking about Donald Trump and the National Guard and Memphis. And we're also going to talk about Chicago very briefly. Before we get started, if you would, take a moment and click that like button. And if you enjoy political divination, please hit the subscribe and stick around. We would love to have you be part of the community here. So let's go ahead and get started. Last week, Donald Trump, for some reason that I don't think anyone has figured out yet, decided that he's not sending the National Guard to Chicago. I think he kind of made some vague reference to like, oh, well, they don't want him there, so I'm not going to do it. Since when does he care what anybody else wants? I didn't say that. Who said that? Anyway, so let's start off with what happened with the plan in Chicago. Not that I wanted him to send them, but it's just weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird. He just backed off out of nowhere. So let's get some cards down for the Chicago situation and see if we can maybe get some info from tarot on what happened, what didn't happen, why did it work out this way. Starting off with a jumper card. Okay. So we got the Five of Pentacles. Could be a financial thing. Could be, oh, this is interesting. I already did a reading earlier and I got these exact two cards to start off with. And that one was a jumper. So this is really weird. Totally different deck, by the way. You'll see that in another video. Very strange. Every time this happens, come to find out, tarot is trying to tell me something that I'm not asking about. So let's hope that's not the case right now, because I'd really like to know about Chicago. Unless tarot is telling us information about something else, which may very well be the case, because listen, I'm telling you, I already got these cards in another reading with an entirely different deck, but let's just go with it. So we've got on the outside looking in, why can't they go in? Why can't they ask for help? Some situation going on where help cannot be offered. Another situation with the Two of Pentacles where you're overloaded, your hands are full, you're struggling to balance. Maybe you're doing a good job balancing, but either way, you are balancing, and that's not a position that anybody really wants to be in. And then we have the Tower, and everybody knows all about the Tower. If you build the Tower on unstable ground, there is no hope for the longevity of that structure. Let's get a couple more cards. The Chariot, get a little bit of energy here that this may be something to do with the military. That may be a military reference. That is, the Chariot is a card of speed and movement and catalysts. Looks like there could be an ending coming. Some type of ending. Now, remember, our question was, why did the scenario with Chicago not work out? Because I don't think they're telling us the truth, at least not the whole truth, about why the National Guard was not sent to Chicago. Of course, Trump is going to Darvo and, Uno reverse and blame shift. So we're not getting a straight answer for him, but the cards are saying that there is something here. Could likely be financial, but I feel like it has something to do with something's coming to an end. Let's put it that way. Let's just see if we can get a couple of cards for the Ten of Swords to kind of expand on the Ten of Swords here. Okay, once again, another reference to speed, something incoming. The Three of Wands, something is here. There is maybe a new plan. Oh, okay. The Queen of Swords. And again, I've already pulled every single one of these cards for a previous reading, so very strange. Just want to point that out because, like I said, sometimes when this happens, the cards are actually trying to tell me about something else that I'm not asking for. So just keep that in mind as we go through this reading, that there may be an alternate message here. And it may come through, it may not. I may never know until later what that message was. I've had that happen quite a few times, unfortunately. So with the Ten of Swords, if we're looking at the situation in Chicago, I feel like there's just something in the way, something that maybe would have been exposed, something would have, I don't know, very strange. Getting the sense that Trump had a feeling that if he sent the National Guard to, and I think, the concept of a blue city is kind of coming to mind right now. There was something that they were able to pinpoint that might have backfired. So something that we don't know about likely, or maybe there is some information out there to kind of back this up. But I just get this vague sense of they saw kind of a hole in their logic. And I'm feeling like this is probably logic, planning, strategy, and seeing an end, seeing something go wrong. Let's see if we can get a few cards for something to describe what exactly is the thing that was in the way. What was standing in the way? Let's start with 3 cards. I feel Pritzker's energy right here, but I also feel like there's a double meaning. There's something that they pinpointed that would have reflected poorly on Trump. It's got something to do with something he wants to keep quiet, something that he needs to keep close to his vest, something would have been revealed, but I'm not getting a sense of like what is it? Oh, okay. Something just popped into my head. There is some interaction that is likely to happen with the National Guard. There's a ticking clock. Trump's having to do this on borrowed time. I'm feeling something about borrowed time here. I'm feeling something to do with, what is it? How do I put this? He has to use them at opportune moments, because keep in mind, a lot of this is just for show. This is for optics. So he needs to use them strategically as a scare tactic, but he doesn't want to overuse them to the point that it kind of runs into some other type of territory and I'm getting a sense that this has something to do with poor treatment of the actual National Guard. It could be something like a law in the way. And I'm not 100% well-versed. My brain is overloaded with information right now, so I haven't really dug too deeply into all of the rules and regulations surrounding what he's doing. I know topical stuff, but there is something, and I keep thinking about like last week or the week before, maybe it was like, I think it was like the week before, a lot of you were telling me in the comments that, if they're deployed for 30 days, then there's like a shift in what happens with like pay and housing and benefits and all that. It may be something along those lines. So it's like he's having to use them in strategically timed bursts, only when he really needs the optics. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I know I'm starting to ramble a little bit, so we'll stop there. Anything else Tarot can tell us about the Chicago situation? I think there's a good chance that he could just walk away from this. There's someone else involved. It's almost like he's doing somebody a favor. He's going to walk away from this because there's someone else involved that he's doing a favor for. That's what's coming to mind. Look at a couple more cards. It's somebody he doesn't want to put in this position because there's this fear of defeat. The fear of someone showing him up. And here we have a reference to the past, a reference to This may be our clue to figuring out exactly what this is talking about, because there's some reference to the past, there is a reference to a partnership, and there is a reference to someone he does not want to take on. He does not want to go toe-to-toe. Maybe it's Pritzker himself, because I did kind of briefly get a sense of Pritzker's energy up here towards the center, because a lot of people really like Pritzker. A lot of people are praising him for standing tough, standing up against the regime. This is interesting. There's something more to the Chicago scenario than what we can get from the cards. I don't know if it'll come out in the future. Hopefully it will, and we'll get some type of like verification, validation, something or another. Let's move on to Memphis. There's a rumor on the internet that a bunch of people stole a couple of tanks from the National Guard in Memphis. Listen, it's not true, okay? I don't know where that footage came from. I could probably track it down, but there's no way that it's from like right now. I mean, I guess there is a possibility it could be new. I don't think it is. I think it's old footage. It looks like old footage to me. Could probably easily be tracked down with a Google search. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious. And if it didn't happen, I hope that maybe it does, because that would be just so memorable for history books. But no, seriously, let's get serious for a second. So we don't know right now when the National Guard will be deployed into Memphis. They haven't decided yet. They're still in the planning phase, according to all the news reports that I've read. They're not there yet, and that's why I'm saying that I'm pretty sure that the tank footage isn't real, even though it's funny and I like it. So we don't know for sure yet when they'll be deployed. We do know Trump has said that it will be Tennessee's National Guard, that it won't be from other states. So let's start off with, why Memphis? All right, so the first card that draws my attention here is actually that Ten of Cups. Now, little known fact about the Ten of Cups, everybody sees that card and they say, oh, wonderful, happy ending, everything's fantastic. Did you know that there's actually a darker meaning to that card, and it does not have to be reversed to hold like a lower frequency or a lower vibration, thus giving it a, darker, more sinister meaning. So one of the theories about the Ten of Cups states that you got everything you ever wanted. You finally, you've made it, but you get to a place where all of a sudden you realize you didn't want it, and it wasn't exactly what you set out for. It also can denote that things are going very well, which inevitably means it's time for a cosmic disruption. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I see that card, based on the kind of muddled line that it's in, because we have the Ace of Cups, which in this circumstance, I believe, tied to the High Priestess card, there's something here emotionally connected to Memphis that we don't know about yet. And then we have the Knight of Cups and the Page of Pentacles, where we have two people who are focusing very intently on a single object and a single goal. Both of these cards represent a person who, or an archetype. He's romanticizing and searching and will not stop until he finds what it is he's looking for. And the Page of Pentacles is letting his entire life go by while he stares at one object. So this is intense focus, secret, emotional energy of some sort. We'll get some cards to clarify these. And then we have the question of, is this a happy ending, or is this an indicator that disruption is coming? So it could be that we're looking at a situation where the regime has spotted something about the city of Memphis that they want to disrupt. Because here we have them focusing on a goal, which, what have they been focusing on? Of all the things Trump's done so far, one of the things that I feel like he's put the most effort and energy in are these big grand shows of power. And whether that's with ICE or with the National Guard, he's getting very militaristic. He's got the big North Korea signs as of today that they're hanging on all of the federal buildings. It's an icky, weird, enigmatic feeling that we've got going on here. So let's clarify the Ace of Cups and the High Priestess, and we're going to look at these two cards as a couple and not just independently. Let's get a couple of cards to describe the energy here. So with the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Wands, we're getting away with something, and I think with the Ten of Wands, this card actually makes me think a lot about this card. Because you got everything you wanted and now you're burdened by it. It's too much to carry. So, you know, taking something, walking away, a winner, even by dishonest means, and then ending up overloaded in the end with a situation that you can't parse out because there's just too much. It's just too much to bear. You've got your arms full. Bit off more than you could chew, that kind of energy. Again, with another Wands card, that is the Nine of Wands, interestingly enough. And to me, this is really just reinforcing this whole vibe of it's becoming too much. Something's becoming too much to bear. Somebody's getting away with something that someone else doesn't like. So there are a lot of theories that I've seen circulating on the internet why Donald Trump's picking the places that he's picking to send the National Guard. I'm wondering if there's something he is hyper-focusing on here having to do with Memphis. How does it go? Like, is this really going to work out for him? So let's get 3 cards. How, you know, because there's still a chance. Like, they haven't sent him yet, so he could back out, just like he did with Chicago. This could be an empty threat, and I kind of just want to explore that possibility a little bit because I feel like he's making a lot of threats at this point. It's like he kind of proved he could do something and create like this new illusion, I guess, you know, in the people's eyes, because it's scary to see your military roaming the streets out of nowhere when, you know, the people around Donald Trump who strategize for him, they likely have a good idea of how people see him and how he wants to be seen and what the needed steps are to create this facade that he wants to uphold, and a facade that works to control the masses. And so I think at this point, he's proven that he can do it. He's proven that he will do it. And you know, at some point, he gets to where he can just say he's going to do it, and it has almost the same effect. Instantly kind of wondering if the King of Pentacles here may be like a mayor. I need to Google who is the mayor of Memphis. Some authority figure in Memphis who is very well established. They may or may not be very well liked, but it's someone who is most likely left-leaning. And I feel like this probably is one specific person and not just an overall energy. The King of Pentacles here, this is someone who his values are kind of coming from a left-leaning perspective. And he's someone who's successful. He's someone who is generous, someone who is wise. I wonder if it's saying that this guy's going to get in the way, whoever this energy is. Let's get like a couple of cards here. I feel like there is preparation. Whoever this is preparing. I think they have people on their side that you may not expect to see. Like, you know, if this is representative of someone who is a Democrat, or is left-leaning in their values. They likely have bipartisan support. Also, it could be someone who is not necessarily registered as a Democrat, but has some leftist values. And that could explain, what we're seeing with because I'm thinking when I see the Lover's card here, I keep thinking of like crossing the aisles. This is bipartisan. This is not just the left versus the right like usual. I feel like there's more people in this guy's corner than you might initially expect to see. So I wonder, in the long run, how does this go? Does Donald Trump get what he wants? Does he send the National Guard? Does he back out? At this very moment, what is the most likely outcome? I think he wants to spark a fight. He wants to instill fear. He wants to put Memphis in the spotlight for something. There's something that, like, he's got some type of grievance. And I feel like over here, this is him sitting proudly on his throne with, all of these accomplishments under his belt. Like, I feel like the cups in this circumstance are notches on his belt. Like, oh, well, I did this and I did that and blah, 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 blah. And now I'm going to go after this new place. And here's the reason why. And it's got something to do with maybe like, I don't know, like I feel like pointing a spotlight at something or someone there, because he knows if he does that, then it will create internal fighting. So something that I've been noticing pretty frequently with these types of actions that Trump is taking, he starts the process and then maybe he'll back out, maybe he'll let up, maybe he'll get distracted and go do something else. But in his wake, he leaves MAGA to fight his battles for him. So he can point a finger and say, I don't like this group or this place or that place. And then he can go on about his business with something else, with his ballroom, with, whatever. And they'll take up the cause for him. So I'm kind of getting a feeling that that's the kind of scenario that we have here, and that it's likely to play out in a way to where he just kind of like, I don't know, maybe the momentum drains out of it. Nothing really comes of it. It doesn't manifest physically, but then there are problems left behind. You know what I mean? So kind of weird. I don't know. There's something about all of this that doesn't make sense. Like, there's more to the picture. We may have to wait and see, because I just don't feel like his heart's really in it. I don't feel like there is a solid, real reason for him to be doing this. Like, it's a personal attack against somebody at most. And incidentally, you could argue that, the reason he didn't go after Chicago is for the reverse. It's weird. It's just he's using things as bargaining chips, and also kind of get the bargaining chip energy from up here too, kind of a feeling of that. So very strange, very muddled answer. Definitely some kind of answer. We'll have to decode it. If you guys have any theories, feel free to share them in the comment section. I always love reading your guys' thoughts on everything. And I guess we'll wrap this one up here, and we'll see how it plays out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And if you enjoy political divination, go ahead and hit the subscribe and stick around and become part of the community. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your week.